I was scammed in the bear market by this guy right here. But this is not going to be a hit piece because I'm better than that. Because what I really want this video to be is for you to learn from me about why middlemen suck. And just know that even though I've been in crypto 10 years, I still make mistakes. And this was a personal big setback for me that I'm sharing with you because I want you to realize it could be worse. Okay, because this happened a couple weeks ago. And I haven't really talked about it because honestly, I've already internalized it. I've already processed it. It's not like I'm walking around wallowing in shame. In fact, if anything, this learning experience for me too just motivated me 10 times harder to focus on the incredible life-changing opportunity of PulseChain Hex and PulseX that's right in front of us. But sometimes when you invest and you trust other people, they let you down and they steal your money. Now this guy, who has already admitted to stealing upwards of $42 million. That's right. Not just from me, from a lot of people with this hedge fund that I invested in. Well, he's in for a really rough time. So Mr. Boyd, if you're out there, we're coming for you, and you will regret what you did. Because although I lost money, a lot of people lost even more money than me, and I know people who I trusted when I invested with this particular hedge fund who lost it all. They lost their entire life savings. Now, I did lose a sizable chunk of money, and it's the amount of money where when I've told people in my personal life about it, their jaws dropped on the floor. And in fact, I think they had more of an emotional reaction than I did. It was kind of weird when I found out about this that I never once went through any kind of extreme rage. I never let myself get down or emotional about this even for a short bit of time. Because I just asked myself, what would the best version of myself do in this situation? And the answer was move on, be grateful for what I do have, and try to use this as a learning experience. They say never let a good tragedy go to waste. So I'm here to tell you guys that middlemen suck. And PulseChain, by holding your own private keys and investing in cryptocurrencies, this actually cannot happen if you hold true decentralized tech. That also, by the way, has the potential to pump way more than the gains that this hedge fund was promising. Now, it's not actually the fault of the hedge fund. It's the third-party development company run by a guy named Michael Boggs, Quantum Arc, who hired this guy, this real POS, who essentially built this elaborate system within a third-party dev company to steal all this money. Now, will he get away with it? No. But this little bundle of sticks right here, he's pissed off a lot of people, not just me. And although the amount of money I've lost to a normal person, I'm not going to say how much it was, but it was more than some people make in a year. And that's okay because this is a setback and ultimately a learning experience. No matter what level you're at in terms of wealth, in terms of money, when you trust other people, you have to trust other people, and people lie. And even people with the best intentions can still lose money. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And although I still think very highly of the hedge fund owner and the guy who got me into this opportunity, who is a Pulsekin, by the way, a Hex aficionado, these are good people. Okay, I want to separate these people at the hedge fund from this guy at the third-party company, who is likely very screwed. Because not only is there a class action lawsuit against this guy, but the hedge fund manager, being a Marine, having connections at the FBI, having connections at FinCEN, they've got an asset recovery team working on this because when there's high stakes involved, this is an 8-figure amount of money. Again, not all mine, not anywhere close to all mine. I was one of the smaller investors here. And that was part of why I invested. I figured, okay, there's all these, very wealthy people invested in this hedge fund. If I come in with a very small amount of money relative to them, it was an appeal to authority. I figured, these guys must know what they're doing. And they did. They had an arbitrage system that ran a machine learning algorithm through multiple exchanges and were able to print, monthly ROI for all of their customers, everybody that pooled their money together. And for me, it was a way to earn passive income during the bear market. And it did work for a while until this guy decided to go rogue. Now, on top of FinCEN and the FBI and the class action lawsuits, Michael Boggs, the owner of the dev company, Quantum Arc, he's fully intent on getting the model running again to make everybody whole. And in fact, he might even sell his company to a buyer that would also make everybody whole. So while I am optimistic that the money will be returned, I simultaneously feel grateful that I can lose this amount of money and not be effective at all. But the reason cryptocurrency is so important, the reason PulseChain Hex and PulseX represent such a massive opportunity is because you don't have to trust terrible people like this. That when you're a developer managing money for a large hedge fund, people lie, people get tempted. Doesn't matter how good of a person you think somebody is. Humans have this very dark side to them, this very shadow self kind of side. And if you have any kind of life experience at all, you will get screwed over by somebody in your life. But it's all about how we handle these losses that matters. There's our old Rocky quote, it's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and still keep going. So I feel lucky and almost blessed to have this relatively minor setback in the grand scheme of things because it made me realize the importance of the true decentralized grassroots movement we have with PulseChain the massive price potential that ultimately I think it's going to make this loss look like the tiniest, most insignificant little anthill in the grand scheme of things. Now that said, I do want justice, and I do want to see this guy behind bars. And if I was this guy, I'd be very scared right now. But to change the topic, to get that hideous image off the screen, I am focusing all of my efforts on exposing the opportunity of PulseX, PulseX, and INC to more people, just like I have been for the past 5 years. Nothing has changed. My fundamental thesis on these coins, their 100x potential, their 1000x potential, really, that has not changed. I've been talking about the same coins for 5 years, and I'm heavily invested, not only financially, but emotionally, spiritually. I know how much this can help not only myself, but everybody else, because when you hold your own private keys, when you use decentralized finance the way crypto was supposed to be, you don't have to expose yourself to corrupt middlemen who lie, cheat, and steal. PulseChain, you can stake it, you can run your own validator, earn 10% APY. Hex, you could mine it, monetize time, earn like 1% to 20% APY. PulseX, you could own the casino. Imagine if you could own a piece of the buy pressure of Uniswap, of all of those trading fees every day. That's PulseX. So I love cryptocurrency because I have my coins. I have ownership of my coins, and nobody can take that away from me. And ownership is power, and the potential, the optimism. PulseChain gives hope that not a lot of people in their life actually have. Some people lead very dark lives, and PulseChain is a beacon of optimism, while a lot of people are going through even darker times. Again, I've already shrugged this off. I've written it off as a loss for me personally, but I'm still optimistic that justice will be served. But it's not worth me thinking about, and it's never worth getting obsessed about the money that you've lost, because that's just wallowing. It's self-pity, it's self-victimizing. And again, it's how we handle these things. Would the ideal version of you want you to sit around and whine and cry all day that somebody stole your money? No. They would want you to keep going and keep doing bigger things and use that as a motivator. Like a lot of people, they get on Twitter and they whine and cry about the price of their coin going down. It's like, yeah, the price of the coin might have gone down, but you own those coins. You still have the same number of units, unless you click the sell button. So a bubble, a crypto bubble of something going up really high and down a lot is different than somebody lying, cheating, or stealing. And I'd much rather be exposed to something with volatility and risk, because you don't get any reward without the risk. So I think everybody should take more risk. I think everybody should realize that we're looking at a revolution here. We're looking at a global grassroots organic movement. And I'm talking about PulseChain with no middlemen, no VCs, no off switch, no potential for somebody to come in and steal your coins unless you do something stupid. Always be careful connecting to third-party smart contracts. Be careful dealing with third-party people. It is rare that you will live a life, if you try to do anything significant at all in your life ever, and not be screwed over. In fact, I would say probably every single one of you watching has been betrayed by somebody in the past. But again, it's all about how we handle these setbacks that makes our future story worth telling. So there are crypto scams out there. Learn from me, learn from what I did wrong. If something is too good to be true, think twice. Think about what's in your control and realize that what you've got probably is pretty good. If you're in PulseChain, what you've got has a lot of potential, and you can avoid some of these scams. These are high-level scams that I'm talking about. These are complex, 8-figure scams. Now, of course, there are scams within PulseChain too. There are people that make coins that are honeypots that rob all your money. Be vigilant. Be careful. Not your keys, not your coins. Don't trust, verify, all that good stuff. Just know that it can happen to anybody. And this isn't even the first time, for me personally, that I've lost a significant chunk of money doing something unwise. But all that I'm going to do now is go 10 times harder into promoting PulseChain and exposing this opportunity to as many people as I can, because we can't all win together here. The more people that believe, we can create this wealth generation game. We can make the pie bigger. And for the people that actually do believe, over a long period of time, they can win. Now, there's going to be winners and losers, but typically the short-term minded, overly greedy, people that give away their money to somebody else, like myself. I let somebody else manage my money for me. I paid the price. But with PulseChain, there is this wholesome, positive sum game, this wealth generation game that can create life-changing money for thousands and thousands of people. I'm talking 100x's, even 1000x returns. I truly believe that, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And every time I branch out and I make mistakes somewhere else in my life, the one overarching thing that I keep coming back to is decentralized, peer-to-peer technology that can change the world for the better. Not only can it make you free, but it can make you rich in the process. And they're kind of one and the same. So learn from me. We all make mistakes. Don't identify with it. Don't wallow in it. Don't let it weigh you down. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. See you on the next one.